Welcome back to RideWire. Today we're diving into Kawasaki's latest modern classic, the 2026 Z900 RS. This is a machine that blends old-school soul with contemporary engineering, designed for riders who appreciate the look and feel of retro motorcycles but still want all the reliability, performance, and safety that modern technology provides. Kawasaki has been refining the Z900 RS platform for several years, and the 2026 version carries forward that heritage while tightening up details in performance, comfort, and style. The question is, does it live up to the legendary Z1 inspiration? Or is it just another retro-styled naked? Let's find out. At the heart of the Z900 RS sits a 948cc liquid-cooled inline-four engine, a unit that produces around 111 horsepower at 8,500 revolutions per minute and plenty of usable torque, peaking in the mid-range at about 6,500 revolutions per minute. That figure doesn't just look good on paper. It translates to a riding experience that's smooth and tractable. You don't have to be wringing the throttle out to the red line to enjoy it. Instead, you get plenty of mid-range punch that makes overtaking easy, keeps things engaging in the twisties, and ensures commuting in traffic never feels like a chore. It's an engine that feels alive without being overwhelming, which is exactly the balance you want from a retro-inspired roadster. The transmission is a 6-speed with a slick shifting feel, and it's paired with Kawasaki's assist and slipper clutch. This makes downshifts smoother and keeps the rear wheel stable under hard braking, so you don't get that unsettling hop when you're pushing it. The gearing is well spaced to give you low-end usability and highway cruising comfort, so whether you're in the city or out on a Sunday ride, the Z900 RS always feels ready. Handling is an area where Kawasaki has clearly worked to bridge the gap between retro looks and modern expectations. The chassis is stiff and confidence-inspiring, built around a steel trellis frame that keeps things balanced. Up front, you have a 41mm inverted fork with adjustable compression, rebound, and preload, while the rear uses a horizontal back-linked monoshock. On the same model, you step up to an A-lens rear shock, which adds a little more compliance and refinement when the road gets bumpy. The result is a bike that feels solid in corners, predictable in its steering, and planted under acceleration. It doesn't have the razor-sharp quickness of a supersport, but that's not what it's about. Instead, it delivers stability and confidence, which is exactly what most riders in this category want. Braking performance is another strong point. The Z900 RS uses twin 300mm front discs with radial mount calipers and a radial pump master cylinder, along with the 250mm disc at the rear. The stopping power is more than enough, with good feel at the lever. ABS is standard, and on the Z version you get Brembo calipers up front that add an extra layer of bite and finesse. Together with the suspension setup, these brakes make the bike feel well sorted when you're pushing through corners or coming to a stop in traffic. Comfort hasn't been forgotten either. The seat height is about 835mm, which works for a wide range of riders, and the ergonomics strike a nice balance between sporty and relaxed. The handlebar position is upright and natural. The footpegs aren't too far back, and the seat offers decent support for longer rides. Combined with the 17-liter fuel tank, you get good range between stops, making it practical for day trips as well as daily riding. It isn't a touring bike, of course, but it has enough comfort to take you well beyond city limits. Styling is where the Z900 RS really stands out. Kawasaki has leaned heavily on its Z1 heritage, and you see it immediately in the teardrop fuel tank, the round LED headlight framed in a classic-style housing, the dual analog-style gauges paired with a small LCD, and the minimalist side profile. Paint options continue to channel the retro look with metallic finishes, subtle stripes, and attention to detail in how the bodywork and components fit together. The Z version ups the ante with special colors, gold-accented suspension components, and higher-end finishes that make the bike look even more premium. This is a machine that draws attention without being overdone, a motorcycle that looks equally good parked outside a cafe tilde copyright as it is leaned over in a corner. The exhaust note deserves mention as well. Kawasaki has tuned the system to deliver a deeper, more soulful sound than you would expect from a modern inline-four. At low revs it has a burble that feels purposeful, while under acceleration it builds to a satisfying growl without being obnoxious. It's one of those details that adds to the overall character of the bike, reminding you that part of the appeal here is the emotional connection, not just the numbers on a spec sheet. Electronics are kept fairly simple, which some riders will love and others may wish had a little more. You get Kawasaki's traction control system with multiple modes, ABS, and the economical riding indicator that helps keep an eye on fuel use. What you don't get are things like cruise control, a quick shifter, or cornering ABS. For some riders that simplicity is part of the charm, keeping the bike focused on the basics. For others, especially those comparing it to more tech-heavy rivals, it might feel like a drawback. Pricing is always a big part of the story, and Kawasaki has positioned the Z900 RS competitively for what it offers. In the UK, the most recent model years have been listed around £11,500 to £12,000 for the standard version, while the SE variant pushes closer to £13,500. That puts it above entry-level retro bikes but below boutique machines from smaller manufacturers, and right in line with competitors like Triumph's Bonneville range or Yamaha's XSR 900. Given the performance, finish, and Kawasaki's reliability record, it's a strong value proposition. We can expect the 2026 model to remain in that same ballpark, perhaps with a modest increase depending on currency shifts and inflation. So what makes this bike stand out in a crowded field of retro-styled machines? For starters, it offers genuine heritage. This isn't a company slapping old-school paint on a generic chassis. It's a motorcycle built as a homage to one of Kawasaki's most iconic models, with details that show careful thought. Then there's the performance: 111 horsepower, a strong mid-range, and handling that inspires confidence without overwhelming less experienced riders. Add in the character of that inline-four, the quality of the fit and finish, and the availability of the SE trim with its A-lins and Brembo components, and you have a package that feels premium yet usable. It's not perfect. At around 215 kilograms wet, it's not the lightest bike in the class, and riders looking for razor-sharp performance may find it a bit steady compared to sportier nakeds. The fuel range is decent but not huge if you're pushing it hard, and some will wish Kawasaki had added a quick shifter or cruise control as standard. But those are relatively minor points when the core experience is this well-rounded. The bottom line is that the 2026 Kawasaki Z900 RS delivers what retro riders crave: timeless looks, real riding pleasure, and enough modern technology to keep things safe and reliable without losing the analog charm. It's a bike you can enjoy every day without feeling like you've compromised on performance, and one that will draw admiring looks wherever you take it. If you want a motorcycle that bridges generations, a machine that nods to the past but is fully capable in the present, this is one of the best options on the market. Thanks for watching RideWire. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Kawasaki's modern classic, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment letting us know what you think of the Z900 RS. Would you pick it over a Triumph Bonneville or a Yamaha XSR? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, ride safe and stay wired in.